A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight. Oh. Boy, what a match. A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight.
I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand.
A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not.
A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight. Look at the fire in the eyes of the Great Khali. He's here to deliver us. That's one fewer superstar in this match.
You talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars have been going after each other.
They're not playing with kid gloves, that's for sure.
We knew we were going to see a heck of a match, but this might turn out to be... No. Go ahead and say it, JR.
All right, I will. I think this one's got all the... There he goes! A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Sheesh.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for? A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Sheesh.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for? A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Sheesh.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for?
So, how do you think this one?
A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Sheesh.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for? A big New England welcome from Portland, Maine. This is good old JR, Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
I've never seen a crowd so fired up, JR. They can't wait to get started, and neither can I.
That makes two of us, King. I don't think Portland's going to know what hit it after tonight.
This Gran Khalí is a bona fide monster. I feel sorry.
A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Sheesh.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for? Is that? Yes, that's an elimination.
Time to play the game.
I hate to admit it, but when I look at superstars like the Gran Khalí, part of me is glad I don't wrestle that much anymore.
Are you seriously admitting that the Gran Khalí intimidates you?
Don't go putting...
He just got tossed out rather unceremoniously, in my opinion.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that would be no. That's it. The match is over for that particular superstar.
Did you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later, and I'm glad I'm here to see.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway? Wow, he wasn't too gentle about throwing him out. So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
But you've got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King.
That's it. He's out of the ring, and that means he's out of the match, too. Wow! Listen to these fans, JR.
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all.
I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand here tonight.
I think you're right, King. These superstars seem intent on taking each other to the limit.
I love that attitude, JR. Go big or go home.
Well, these superstars sure... There he goes! He's out of the match!
Can you believe we actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except when I have to sit here and listen to you drool over the needle.
Come on, Ty. Up and over and out. Eliminated.
Time to play the game.
Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me. There's one less superstar in this match now.
Look at the fire in the eyes of the Great Khalí. He's here to deliver a slobber knock.
Yeah, well, that's not hard to do when you're a 7-foot monster. I don't think that these superstars have even contemplated the fact.
This match has come to an abrupt end for that superstar. These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, and that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might wind up risking your career for a single match. Over the top rope and down to the floor. That's an elimination.
These fans love confidence in their superstar, and that's just what they're seeing from him here tonight.
Well, he can do this until the cows come home, but that's not going to win him the match. I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes with the price of admission. What an...
Talk about adding insult to injury, tossed out of the ring and the match. These superstars are beating the heck out of each other, and this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King, and they're getting their money's worth tonight.
They sure are, JR. There's no question these superstars are earning their paychecks.
That's one fewer superstar in this match.
I think these superstars have a legitimate beef with each other, JR.
So do I, King. I'm not so sure their issues with each other are going to be solved with one match.
I hope not. I'd love to see them go at it again and again.
I tell you, King, I've got no earthly...
I don't believe it! He's been eliminated!
You've got to ask yourself, how much punishment will these superstars be able to withstand tonight?
I don't know, JR, but I think they're pretty intent on finding out.
They certainly are. I don't know how it's going to end, but I can guarantee you they're going to leave it all in the ring.
Looks like his hopes of winning this one have been shattered, JR.
Time to play the game.
I'll tell you what, King, the WWE Superstars are about the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport, period.
What do you mean, just about, JR? Can you actually think of anywhere else?
He might as well start walking back to the locker room. He's out of this match.
I talked to these superstars backstage before the match, and I don't think I've ever seen competitors so ready to get it on.
And that's coming through loud and clear here tonight in this match. They're not taking it easy on each other either.
It's been said a million times, but I'll say it again. This isn't ballet. Ruthless aggression is the name of the game.
And there's the elimination.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE Superstars are trained professionals.
And even they don't walk away from every match in the best shape.
They sure don't. We've seen more than one superstar taken out of here on a stretcher.
Oh my gosh! He's been eliminated from the match! Oh boy! These fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
I think I see where this one's going, JR. I don't think we're very far from the end of the match.
I disagree entirely, King. I bet my Oklahoma Sooner ass that this one isn't even close to being over. He doesn't look too happy about it, but an elimination is an elimination.
Time to play the game.
The word giant gets thrown around a lot, but the Great Khali is the real deal.
He sure is. I can't even begin to imagine where they found a monster like the Great.
He took a ride over the top rope, down to the floor, and out of this match.
You better hold on tight, 'cause I'm gonna love you.
I'm not so sure this one's about winning or losing anymore. I think it's become more personal than that.
Of course it's personal, JR. Anytime you step into the ring with someone who wants to beat you down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences in this match, or if it's going to wind up bigger than that. He's been removed from the ring and from contention in this match.
If any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness, they've lost the match.
That's for sure. No matter how beat up you are, you can't ever let your opponent know the extent of your injuries.
And that's easier said than done, JR. The human body can only absorb so much punishment.
These superstars are in terrific shape, and that comes as no surprise whatsoever.
No kidding. If you don't have that conditioning, you're not going to last long in a match.
You sure aren't. And that's only one of the many reasons I try to stay out of the ring whenever possible.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been shed in that very ring.
And I think there's going to be a lot more shed here tonight.
No doubt about that, King. These superstars are going to leave it all in the ring. You can count on that.
Time to play the game.
I don't think these superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King. And quite frankly, I think these fans would be disappointed if they didn't go all out.
Well, that's easy for the fans to say. They've never set foot inside that ring.
No, but they spend their hard-earned dollars to watch what goes on inside it. And without them, we'd all be out of a job.
Time to play the game!
This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these superstars, that's not going to be easy.
That's for sure. No one in this match is going down without a fight.
And I wouldn't expect any less from them, King. Like them or not, you've got to respect the tenacity of each and every WWE superstar. Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can't, JR, and I don't think we'd have it any other way. You can look at any professional sport you want, JR, and you won't find more incredible athletes than the WWE superstars.
You're not wrong, King. They compete every week until they are physically incapable of continuing. There's no off-season in the WWE.
We're not talking about running a ball down a field or slapping a puck into a net. This is serious physical competition.
It sure is. The toughest athletes in the world are on the WWE roster, and that's a fact.
The quickest way to lose a match is to underestimate your opponent.
I don't think he's underestimating anyone, King. I think he's making it clear that he refuses to be intimidated.
I feel so lucky that I'm actually getting to see these superstars wrestle each other.
Me too, King. This one has the potential to become an instant classic. How do you approach a match with someone like the 7'3", 420-pound Gran Khalí?
Well, part of the problem is that
He's all fired up now, King, and I'd hate to be on the receiving end.
I don't think his opponent's got a hope of hurting him now.
I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You've got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You got to keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly.
You got to respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices than any other professional athlete I know.
It really is like being married to your career. There's not much room for anything else.
And marriage is a subject which you happen to be something of an authority. Isn't that right, King?
Come on now, JR. A man doesn't know what true happiness is until he's married. And then it's too late. Well, from the looks of the... Uh-oh! We know what this is!
We sure do. That giant chop of Khali's has destroyed many a superstar. I'm sure these competitors have...
Look at this! A two-handed chokeslam!
And a move like that will take the fight out of any superstar in a hurry. I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you sure they can afford it, JR?
Oh no, here comes that giant chop of Khali.
That's a move that'll knock you out cold, if you're lucky. I'd hate to be that referee, JR. Can you imagine having to tell one of these superstars no?
Here's your winner, the Great Khali.